What kind of errands?
Oh, well, you know.
Answer the question.
Actually, I was watching a Hammer and Power observing, you know.
Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station?
We were second dinner. I like the day dinner. I did my job.
I'm not sure your boss sees it that way.
Anyways, I always watch hammers run through the always. Never missed one in all my years. Wow.
No. Gonna do the voice.
Wow. What does a steel samurai run through too? You
could quit being a spirit medium and take up a guard duty.
Not a bad idea.
My voice is fucking hoarse.
Anyways, it was one when I got to the guard station.
Okay. Until 5. Until 5, okay? So if I present, I could of course. So she would have seen this. I'm gonna question her on this. So you were watching the whole time, no breaks, not even a second.
Of course, I'm a professional, you know. Or are you criticizing how I do my job? What's that?
No, it's just after seeing you eating those donuts in the guard station yesterday.
I can't watch the kid and eat donuts at the same time. Whippersnapper.
With the snipper whapper.
The old windbag is losing it to Nick.
Why don't you raise an objection? So the witness was on duty through the afternoon the whole time, yes? Very well. What did you see? Okay, so if it happened at 2, I'm just gonna... There's no need to question that. Two p.m. Are you sure about that?
Sure as spit.
Well, who was the man?
Really? You should try not get so excited at your age. You might strain something. Now, don't get your skivvies all in a bunch. I'll tell you who it was.
So you saw Mr. Powers, my client.
That's what I said. I said I got wax in your ears, Sonny.
Nick, I think this is your chance. Yeah, time to pull out the secret weapon.
I said that it was him.
Okay, so I'm gonna present. Time to present this. Let me get this straight, Mrs. Oldbag. You've been saying since yesterday you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? none other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo Old Day Tokyo. Mrs. Olbeck, is this Mr. Powers that you saw?
Of course! Didn't your mama teach you any sense? Anyone that plainly sees that's Powers, right?
No, they can't. Well, I mean, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai.
I know that. I wasn't born yesterday.
No one in this court is accusing you of that, Mrs. Witness. He's having trouble calling her Olbeck, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in the photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you?
Nosy old man. Of course I have proof.
What? Even Edgeworth is surprised. The prosecution would like to ask the witness, please make known all of the information in your possession ahead of time.
How was I supposed to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed of all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look.
Wow, old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof. I need to stop choking myself for a second. Clean my righty out so I can get better clarity on the music. Get my can of Pepsi, drink some. Time to start the trial again.
I don't mean, mind you. That morning during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. It broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at this photo. You can see he's dragging his leg, see? Clearly as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy.
So he had sprained his ankle. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. She's got to be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Okay. That's the morning under the action scene. Trip and fall.
I think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh! So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course.
You helped it better.
I guess the way I heard.
Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant then?
Oh, her! She was cleaning up the backdrop, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle.
You may continue your testimony. Okay, so... He broke a prop.
Sure he did! His own samurai spear!
His samurai spear. A murder weapon.
Luckily, I was there, so I fixed it with duct tape.
This strikes me as a significant detail. I better write it down in the court record. Samurai spear updated in the courtroom record. Let me just... That's odd. If you take a look... Yeah, they are the same spear. I think. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained?
Not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch.
Thus the nap.
And I saw him dragging his foot when he walked.
Dragging his foot. Okay. I think we have heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there is one thing that bothers me. Which is it? Where is the steel samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We were looking through. Anyways, that's not important. The witness did see the steel samurai. Yes? And it's clear that the person in the steel samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure you're about that? Object. Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the steel samurai. Nowhere in the photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else, not caught on camera, have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider the possibility also. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please?
No need to ask twice.
Okay. Let's get this done.
The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m. True. The only person we saw go to the studio before them was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them.
Huh. So, if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be the steel samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine. Okay, so wow, true. How do you know that?
Didn't I just explain? I gave the donuts to the young detective, and then after some rubbish about being a secret pal, he told me everything.
I see, Detective Gumshoe shares his fellow officers' fondness for donuts. Are you absolutely sure?
Oh, quite, Sonny. Nobody suspicious looking passed by at all.
Nobody's suspicious looking. Right. No one else went there. What about before you got to the guard station?
You mean before one? Why, everyone was in the employees area before then. And then the main gate, no one could get in. Not to mention,
If they had, I would have seen them. Are you sure? The witness has answered the questions. Anyone going into the studio has to pass by the witness.
that's right, Sonny. You let him have him, Edgy boy.
Edgy boy? Old Windbag sure has balls. Oh well, you know what I mean. Old Windbag have a way of skipping over important details after all. Or, for the matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps. Okay, so that last part. I'm gonna say for a second, I think I know how to do it. So I'm just gonna check if this would actually work if I present this. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. The photo was taken by the camera at the gate, correct? For the studio, correct?
Yes, sir, Sonny.
So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture.
And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground.
Right, anyways. It's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data.
Oh, you know it. If you wanted to come work at the studio, we might have an opening.
That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed the words October 15th, 2 p.m. photo number 2.
Even I know it was taken 2 p.m. on October 15th, really, Sonny.
Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says photo number 2.
Photo number 2?
The computer only held the data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this be photo number 1 if it really was only one photo? Order! Order! Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that no one but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet, there's only data for one of these photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access to security, with access to the security lady herself.
Will you watch him out, Whippersnapper? The only person I saw that day was Will Powers.
But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by.
Well, yes, that would seem to mean.
Can the witness explain this to the court?
I don't understand these newfangled computer things. It's for help.
Believe me, if I wanted to, but I don't know what this means either.
Some help what you are. You're a whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper?
Something wrong, Miss Oldback.
That's right. I believe I just remembered something.
Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone else, then the steals, am I?
Well, you see, I suppose you could put it that way.
I see. Your testimony, please. Gotta take a drink.
I finish my guard duties. I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it now, I remember throwing out one photo that day.
Mrs. Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this.
Well, of course, Sonny. I've only just remembered it.
Right away. Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination.
Well, I say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Phoenix, kick her ass!
The other person. FDA identified parties have one on point. Well, who in the heck in that photo you erased? Who in the heck was in the photo that you erased?
A fat boy?
A fanboy.
Still fanboys. Real freaks if you ask me. They get information about rehearsals from gosh knows where. They've always had about one of that day.
Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in?
I left the main gate so no one could get in.
Those were your words.
Well, don't mock me first, but, well, you must know there's a train that goes into the employees area.
Huh.
The gate has been loose for a while. It leads outside and, well, they come in.
They come in through the drain.
I told you they were freaks. Oh, and
And
they are kids, children, whippersnappers.
Kids? So, on that photo that you erased,
It was a boy, probably second or third grade.
what? Order. Let me get this straight. You saw two people pass by the gate on their way to the studio that day. One was the steel samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in second or third grade.
Oh yeah, well, we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him.
A boy in second or third grade. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield a samurai spear. Impossible, I think. It's quite heavy.
Right? As I said, I didn't pay him much attention. That's why I erased the data.
Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect.
Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. The court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. October 18th, 11:08 a.m. District Court, Defendant's Lobby number 3. Mr. Powers. Yes. Tell me straight, were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio. I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest.
So, who was that? Who was the steel samurai in the security photo?
How should I know? The steel samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it easily.
What? You should have taken better care of that stuff.
I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a steel samurai costume. So where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now.
Nick, what are we going to do?
First, we play for a little more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this.
Right. And it will take them so long to shoot us down that day that we could get another day.
Right, but if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually.
Hey, Nick, it's time.
Okay, let's go. Well, does that mean... Please don't sigh like that. Don't. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Powell. Mr. Edgewood, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on the matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other people who went to the studio was a boy roughly 10 years of age. The photo we don't have may not be hard evidence. But there is still no one else that could have committed the crime. I call for the verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well. Mr. Roberts, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claims. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind, however. Be aware, this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right, great. As if the stakes weren't high enough. So who's the person other than Powers that could have committed the crime? It was the assistant. The steel samurai costume was in his dressing room. She stole it. So you're saying the steel samurai in this picture is really the assistant? That's correct, Your Honor. If you're serious, you should have got guts, Mr. Robert. Remember that photo? Okay, so remember this testimony is concerning Mr. Powers' industry. I know.
Me?
Okay, so what about the assistant?
Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think.
I think she didn't know about Powers' ankle. She couldn't have looked the steel samurai. Yeah, I know, I just picked this fun. Now let me just read that. It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag.
Whoa!
The steel samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about the morning's industry. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Oldbag.
Oh, what? Whippersnapper!
I'm getting a hoarse voice. Order! Order! Is this true, Oldbag?
Oldbag? That's Mrs. Oldbag for you!
Mrs. Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the steel samurai costume, then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the steel samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera gate would have taken her picture. If she was in his costume, she would point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deduction reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah? Right here, Sherlock Holmes 2, baby! That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time.
What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, what I didn't think about. I did it. Is that what? Hey, boy, don't sit there. Do something.
What? My move? What's my move? Maybe now is my chance to take this away. I could... hypothetically. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Mrs. Oldback's actions on that day.
But why would I do something so horrible to Mr. Hammer?
You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. Indeed. That did it. Now, Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope.
Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy, the one whose photos I erased.
He's only a grade schooler. Though, as you said, second or third grade, was it?
That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could have pinned my old man in 10 seconds tops.
Your thoughts, Mr. White. That boy is not the killer.
What? How can you be so sure? Or is it because be nice to the kids and mean to your elders say? Like a whippersnapper?
I have proof.
Proof?
Indeed. Let's see this, Mr. White. The proof that shows the boy could not have committed the murder. Okay. Is it gonna be this? I'll cross my fingers. 3, 2, 1. The scene of the murder, as we all know, was Studio 1. However, you need a key card to enter Studio 1. How could a boy with no formal relations to the studio have a key card? I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? The windbag speechless. This has got to be the first. Very well. This court will suspend the proceedings on this current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Mrs. Windy. What's her name? Something Oldbag, Your Honor? Then the prosecution look further into this Oldbag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Wait a second! I'm not going to sit here while you just run off barking up the wrong tree at me. I'm talking.
Oh, great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk.
That's no sarcasm, fire.
Thank you, Mr. White.
Mrs. Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony?
Actually, if that you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about.
Not to talk about? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, testify. This bitch. My lips were sealed.
Global Studios wanted me to talk to keep quiet about something. There was some other people at the studio on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me just to pretend they hadn't been at the studio that day. But if you just go accusing me of not letting them get away scot-free.
Mrs. Olbach, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now?
Ain't you been listening? They told me to keep my mouth, shut my trap. I always told them I would do what I told.
No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of Olbach. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. My lips were sealed, okay. Okay, time to save. I'm happily saving, because I don't want to fuck up. Global Studios wanted her to keep quiet about something. There were some other people on the day of the murder. Who were these people?
The producer, for the starters.
The director. We should have known something was fishy. How could have they done a run-through of their action scenes without a director? Of course.
Well, I was surprised no one asked about it.
So, where were these people?
The director was in the employees area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime when they had a meeting after that.
Where?
Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer.
Studio 2? There was a Studio 2?
Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left. The path was where the monkey's head has fallen over.
Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue your cross-examination? I think I've already asked all my questions, but I could. Mrs. Olbach, this is a trial for murder.
I know that's silly. Still, they were plenty convincing about nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side.
So you got a bonus, and you still talked. I've asked all the questions I have. No, I'm gonna keep on continuing it. So you were told not to talk.
That's right, by the studio. The TV bigwigs, no less.
Why didn't I hear about this?
Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in it, on it.
Okay, there were some other people at the studio on the day of the murder. Okay, they said they had nothing to do with it. But it told me So they were actually in the studio.
Yeah, the whole day. When they just heard about the murder, they beat it before the cops came.
I'll kill this woman, I fucking swear. I feel so sorry for that woman. Almost. She really left him hanging on this one. I just want to give him a cup of tea, like some Earl Grey tea, and tell him just to fucking calm down, and give him a pillow to cry and scream into. Just so I know what a whining man sounds like. Them. Who were these people? Well, the dogs.
Well, old Windbag, she sure likes keeping secrets. Let's get as much information as we can.
Okay, so I'm just gonna skip through this. I feel like I'm done for this part. Your Honor, we have learned there were others at the Global Studio on the day of the questioning. The director and the producer, and some bigwigs, were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Mrs. Oldback, and more information about these people we just have been told of. I understand, Your Honor. This ends the day. Proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned. Thank you so much, Miss Roy. I was just right to ask you to defend me.
Really? It's nothing. Oh, or should I say,
Well, we'll be going down to the studio to do more investigation. Oh no, we'll be going down to the studio to do more investigation. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for sure. So, now's my chance to get material for cross-examination so that you will not be charged as guilty. And you will be charged as non-guilty and someone else will get a guilty verdict.
So, Nick, have we figured out just who it was that was the Steel Samurai costume? Couldn't it have been old Windbag?
What do you think? What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really.
Neither do I, Nick.
Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers.
Poor old windbag. I feel kinda sorry for her.
She's a cunt. You shouldn't feel sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there, or with my accusations. Okay, let's get down to the studio.
Oi! We'll be back soon to visit you.
Thanks, guys. To be continued. As a little British chap, this has strained my fucking voice to the point I want to become a voice actor or streamer. Might try and actually do voice acting. Not gonna be good at it. Gonna sound like Nathan Drake. Or something like a knockoff. Yeah, no, we're closing the game. Okay, that's the end of this stream. I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow Hitman.